Hi, welcome to Happier Ladies. We're sisters who discuss all things related to work, family, and personal growth.
We draw inspiration from everywhere, especially from you, our listeners, to keep moving forward with joy and laughter in the big adventure that is life.
1 week at a time.
I'm Azizi Williams. I live and work in the LA area. I'm a mom of two, soon to be an empty nester, and I'm an education professional in the independent school world. I'm here with my sister, Malika Amandi.
That's me. I'm a SoCal native living in Western Massachusetts, a newish mom, and I work in higher ed. In this episode, we discuss all things related to planning.
Yay! But first, Malika, I have a serious question for you.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a question about lasagna.
Okay.
So as you know, for Thanksgiving, every year
Oh, I know.
I make a white lasagna, okay?
Yes.
This has been going on for maybe 5 years.
Yes.
This is a vegan lasagna recipe that is so complicated. It probably requires like 60 different ingredients because it's vegan. You are making the cheese from cashews, white wine, thyme. That's a whole process. You're making the Parmesan. You're making, the filling. It is so complicated and requires so many steps. And I do it. And then I'm always like, was that worth it in the end? I don't know.
It's very tasty, I will say. It's so good.
Do you really feel that way? Or are you just
I
saying that because
do.
it's nostalgia at this
No,
point?
it's delicious, but if you don't want to do it anymore, I won't hold it against you because there's other things and maybe you could bring it out again later, but it's a lot of work. I see you doing all that work.
6 hours.
It's like 2 days of different things. It comes together so beautifully. It's delicious. But you know what? We talked about simplifying this year and making sure we have time to go to the beach. And
Yeah.
that recipe is not really compatible with those values.
Well, okay. If you are being honest and you think it's delicious, because I wasn't sure if people were just placating me because they've seen how much work I put into it and they're just saying that it tastes good, but
Nobody does that in our family. I feel like
that's
I've been
true.
told things are not good
You're right.
before. I've
All
been
right.
shamed for cauliflower. People are pretty real.
I will think about it and give it another thought because I feel like mommy also is attached to it as she is a
Yeah.
pescatarian, so she doesn't eat a lot of the other things. But that's helpful. Thank you for that feedback. I will consider other options that aren't white lasagna this year.
Is there anything we can do ahead of time?
I don't want to do anything ahead of time. It's the problem.
Okay.
It's like I have the time and space and the kitchen in that moment. It starts in the morning with the Thanksgiving Day parade. And, by the end of lunch, I'm kind of wrapping it up. But I don't think I have the time to get into it beforehand.
And there's no shortcuts you could
That's the
take.
thing. When I started making this recipe, I'll find the name of the cookbook. The name of the author, her name is Jenny Cook. She's a local author, and she created this cookbook with vegan options way before anybody else was doing it. So at
Yeah.
that time, you couldn't just buy vegan cheese or cashew cheese. You really had to make it yourself. And so there might be some shortcuts that I could make now because there's so much more out there on the market in that space. But I will give it some more thought. Thank you for that. I just felt like I needed to ask you as we get closer. We're counting down to our Thanksgiving. So I definitely wanted to check in with you. So thank you for that feedback.
You're welcome. Now it's time for Festival of, where we go into great detail about a particular subject. And today is the Festival of Planning.
Woohoo! Okay, Malika, so what do we mean by planning?
So we're going on a broad definition here. Everything related to putting things on a calendar, scheduling, deciding what you're going to do with your time and energy. So that includes goal setting, journaling, like things about writing things down.
Okay, things about writing things down. Okay, and so we've been thinking about this for a long time. We have so much to share. It's probably going to take 2 episodes, so just get ready. Here we go. So we're going to start with planning origins. When did you start planning things, Malika?
Well, I remember journaling when I was like 9 or 10. I think maybe our parents got me like a little journal for kids that had like, pick how you're feeling today, and
Mhm.
you write a couple sentences. It was something like that. So I was using that. And then I pretty much kept going ever since. In middle school, I changed from like kind of more of a Montessori based school where we didn't have homework to a school with more structure where I did start getting assignments, and they gave us a school planner. And so it was like very functional. Like I learned, okay, I have to write my assignments down, but it was not important to me on a personal level.
Mhm.
So I don't think I really got into planning as like a mode of expression until probably my mid to late 20s. And that's when I started using washi tape and like moleskin journals. It was very much in the bullet journaling wave. I was inspired by Pinterest.
Mm.
And then I think in my 30s, I started combining goal setting with planning. And that like opened up a new world. There was this planner called a passion planner. And that had a really big impact on me because it was like telling you to think about your goals and then breaking them down into months and weeks and days.
Mm.
And I just had never like integrated those things. So I think since then I've been like just iterating and playing with different things. And then during the pandemic, I had a really elaborate like sticker decorating ritual I did every week.
Mm.
Found the things that gave us joy, you know?
Absolutely. It's the small things.
Yes. What about you, Azizi? What are your planning origins?
Okay, Malika, you're going way back. That was a real deep dive. I don't remember any of that. I don't remember having a planning origin that starts in, middle school. However, I do remember getting a diary from my parents. I
Mm.
did start journaling around that same time, maybe even younger. I think I was like 8 when I started
Mm.
writing in a diary. So in my adult life, I don't remember planning intentionally until probably about 10 years ago. What was I doing before that? I don't know. I just don't remember. I don't have any memory of anything beyond like 10 years ago. I'm sure I did something to write things down, but I remember I started using around 10 years ago the Leuchtturm A4 journal. I think it's maybe German or Swedish. I don't know, but it's this very standard size journal that's got a solid color. And I really liked the dot paper spread on it and that it would lay flat when you opened it. And that something there just like resonated with me having one of those around me all the time.
Mm.
So I would go through about 3 a year. I started using them just to take notes, just recognizing that I needed to write things down to remember them. And then maybe influenced by you and maybe a colleague from graduate school, I started to experiment with bullet journaling a little bit. I also used like a desk calendar at my desk to kind of manage my schedule at work. Somewhere along the way, Google Calendar happened. And then I started
Yes.
scheduling things on the computer and on my phone. And then I'd say 3 years ago, I was introduced to Good Notes on the iPad by actually my daughter Ilea. You and Ilea are the ones that push me to try new things, especially in the tech space. And I remember I think she was going to be a junior in college or in high school. And she was like, I don't want a laptop. I'm going to just use an iPad. And I was like,
Mm.
what? And, I was shopping with her and she was showing me what you could do with an iPad. And that really blew my mind. And I started to imagine it. And then when I got to my new job, teachers were experimenting with Good Notes and I adopted it and just immediately never looked back.
Mm.
And so that's my primary planning tool now for work alongside my phone.
Wow. All right. So I think it's just so funny that you don't remember
I know. I got it. I'm
10
sure
years
I have it
ago.
written down. I just have to dig into the archives. I'm sure I was writing things. I just don't remember. When was it even? Like 2010? What was I doing? I don't
I
know.
don't know. I believe you. I mean, I feel that way too. Like Google Calendar is such an essential part of my life. Like what was happening before that? There was an Apple Calendar, but like before digital calendars,
What were we doing?
what did I put stuff down in?
The iPhone was like what, 2007, 2008? Maybe I got it 2010, and I really don't remember what
Yeah,
happened before that. I think it was probably just a series of like spiral bound calendar notebooks.
right. All right. So speaking of tools, Azizi, what are your planner tools? or as people in the planner community like to say, which I don't consider myself in that community, but I like to peep the lingo.
Okay.
What's your planner stack?
My planner stack is my 5th generation iPad Air, and it's medium size. I don't know. I can find out exactly the sizes.
Okay.
It's not the smallest one, it's not the biggest one. It's like medium size. And this is a game changer, particularly when I moved to 5th generation because it's the one where the pen charges alongside the iPad. If you get
Mm,
the older ones, you have to charge it with the pen sticking out, and it's really awkward and it looks weird and it's just not as elegant. So I definitely recommend going up to the generation if you're going to get an iPad where the pen charges alongside. It's like magnetic. So that was a game changer for me.
mm,
And I use that for everything related to work. So my notes, if I'm emailed PDFs that I have to engage with, I download it onto GoodNotes. My weekly and monthly spread, all of that happens on my iPad. And it's lovely because when I was using the journals with paper, I take a lot of notes sometimes and I would run out of paper and have to start a new journal.
mm.
And it was just really frustrating because there were things in the previous journal that I wanted to refer
Right.
to, and it just was like an impossible. So this way I never run out of paper and I can add photos. I have digital stickers. There's a whole lot that I can do with it. So that's the iPad. And then I recently discovered disc bound journals. I think, Malika, this was your suggestion from the Sarah Hart Unger's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because she had someone on there talking about journals and they referred to disc bound journals as like so 90s. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'm late as usual to the game, but disc bound journals, you can buy pieces separately and interchange out the covers. There's different kinds of inserts that are fun. And I'm just having fun with the different tabs. I have a section that's for journaling that I keep monthly. And then there's a section for notes and bucket lists and things that I just want to keep. And so those are my two primary platforms. I also have a cover for my iPad, going back to that for a minute, that I really enjoy because it has a pocket. So I can put some cheat sheet papers, like I have the school directory with everyone's names on it. I
Mm.
realized I needed a quick paper referral. It was too hard to like log into the portal to remember all the names. And so that's been really nice to have that piece. And then for the pens, I use a Pentel Energel point 0.7 pen that I loved it. No looking back. I think I may have gotten the recommendation from Wirecutter, but it just flows really well. So I use that in my journal. I also like the Papermate Flare felt tip pens that are really bright and punchy, and I always keep those around. I use tabs, like the tab stickers for my journal so that I can make different chapters. And then, of course, stickers, which I love. For the disc bound, I found a budget insert. That's fun, but that's just an
Got it.
example of there's so many different products that are out there that you can play around with to personalize it. For my iPad, sorry, I'm going back and forth with iPad and disc bound journal, but for my iPad, I do want to say again, the virtual stickers are so fun. You can download them from almost anywhere. You can create a virtual sticker from a photo or from, an icon on a website. I like to take pictures of flowers, which I've mentioned before, and then I turn
Mhm.
them into stickers that I can then use on my iPad on my notes. And it just makes me so happy to have that flower I saw at the Huntington alongside my notes. And then I also have a wall calendar that keeps my family organized with dates. So between my phone, my iPad, my disc bound journal, and the wall calendar, that's how I'm organizing myself. Those are the tools.
All right.
So, Malika, what about you? What's your planner stack?
I think the top level is the Google Calendar, Notion, Remarkable, and then 2 Hobonichis.
Two
So that's like
Hobonichis.
big
Okay.
picture
Got it.
what I use. Google Calendar is like my one source of truth. Any appointment goes there. Anything that's fixed in time, like I just automatically put it in my phone. And I have my own calendar, which I don't use that much anymore. It's mostly things go on the family calendar. And then there's like a work calendar.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
I didn't talk about. I also use Google Calendar and I also use Apple Notes. Sorry. I wanted to add those
Okay.
two. If we can go back to my section for a moment,
Okay.
those two things I also use. Definitely Google Calendar, definitely Apple Notes. Now, my question to you is when you say you have a Google Calendar for family and for work, you're looking at them on the same calendar, right? Right,
Yes.
okay.
They're different accounts, but I've added them all into one view.
Exactly, got it.
Yes. What do you use your Apple Notes for?
Oh, so many lists. We'll get to that
Lists.
later. I
Okay.
use it for lists and also just to quickly remember things, so we can talk about that
Okay.
later, yeah.
So Notion, which is a online platform, I use for keeping like my big ongoing to-do list and saving ideas that I don't want to forget or lose. So I keep my 24 for 24 list there, gift list ideas, planning brainstorming for upcoming trips. So like for the family reunion, for instance, I created a family reunion page and then I put all of our like flight information there, packing lists, ideas for what to do with Indigo. That's just like the place I kind of keep going back to.
Mm.
And then based on this book, Building a Second Brain by Tiago Forte, which I have not read, but I did purchase for Norm and he read and he told me about it.
So that totally counts as you reading it.
I organized the Notion into projects, areas, resources, and archives. So everything can fall under one of those things. And like that system has been working. So for Notion, I have 3 accounts.
Wow.
One is like for my personal things, one is for family stuff that Norm and I share, and then one is for work, which is just for my work stuff. And actually, Notion is pretty, I don't even know what to call it. It's not exactly a task manager. It's pretty flexible and robust. So I actually purchased like a template from one of the YouTube people that I follow where she had built out a lot of different areas already and you could just copy it. And so that was, I think, $20 and like totally worth it for me. I don't use it in the exact same way that she does, but it just took out a lot of the guessing work about how to set stuff
Mhm.
up. So for journaling and big picture planning and goals, I use a Remarkable 2 tablet. And I use that for some work things as well. Like if I'm taking notes at a conference, I'll use that. Because I like handwriting, I've decided I don't like having so many
Yeah.
notebooks, use notebooks. I think this is one of the more underutilized tools. I really like it. It feels like writing on paper to me, but it's not, you can't do color.
Mm.
There's some limitations, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit like, oh, should I just get an iPad?
Gotta come over to the iPad side. And I forgot to tell you, like, I have one more tool, which
Oh gosh.
which is the paper cover that goes over the iPad. So there's a special cover that when you write on it, feels like paper also. Forgot to mention that.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
All right. So the Hobonichis, one is a Hobonichi Weeks, which is like, I can't remember the name of the size, but it looks like a checkbook kind of. It's a little bit bigger. And I got a cover for it from Etsy that's like bright red,
Mhm.
very cute. So there's a weekly layout in there. It has the days of the week going from the top of the page to the bottom, kind of a horizontal layout. But I turn it 90 degrees and use it as a vertical layout.
Wow.
It's pretty small, but somehow that changed it for me and that made it more functional. So I don't write down every single thing that's happening that day, but I kind of just put the scaffold of the day for a week to look at what's going on that week. So I do like grocery lists in there, tasks for the week, and then I use it for kind of daily or one-off task lists too. There's a monthly spread, a weekly spread, and then there's some extra pages in the back, and that's where I just do like stuff. Like if I go to a coffee shop, I'll make a list of like the things I want to do while I'm at the coffee shop.
Mhm.
So the Hobonichi Cousin, that's my work planner. And it's mostly, I use it like a notebook. So there's monthly pages and there's a weekly spread too, which I don't use those at all. But there's also a dated page for each day. And so that's where I kind of write down the schedule for the day on one side. And then when I'm meeting with students, I'll like write notes there. Or if I have a meeting, I'll write my notes there on the page with the date.
But what happens if you run out of space? You said it's dated.
I realized that I don't actually need much more than that.
Mm.
Like my appointments are 30 minutes.
Mhm.
There's not a whole lot to write down.
Got it. Got it. It's very regular.
Yeah, like I rarely run out of space. Occasionally there's a page for every day and I only use it Monday through Friday. Like There's always a Saturday or Sunday that's open
Mhm,
nearby
mhm.
that I can use. But I haven't really run out of space there.
Hmm.
All right, we've got the landscape mapped out. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll get into some more details, how these things look in practice. Azizi, how's your dinner game these days?
Well, Malika, I used to struggle with what to cook for dinner.
You're cooking now?
Okay. Actually, my husband used to struggle with what to make for dinner. I mean, meal planning, grocery lists, yuck. But then we found Prep Dish. It's a weekly meal planning service that tells you exactly what to cook. And now they've partnered with Instacart, so your grocery list becomes a ready to go online cart.
Oh, what's in your cart, Azizi?
All of the Prep Dish ingredients, plus I can add energy drinks, chili crisp, lipstick, whatever, and check out in just a few clicks. Shopping online is so fun. The meals are family friendly, healthy, and super easy to prep. Dinner is easy to make, and now we look forward to new tasty meals.
Prep Dish is offering our listeners 2 weeks free. Just head to prepdish.com/happierladies to sign up. Again, that's prepdish.com/happierladies.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
And we are back with our Festival of Planning continued. So we're going to do a rapid fire round. Azizi, how do you plan these things in an ideal world? Like your perfect week, whatever. What does it look like for you to plan your day, your week, your month?
Okay, so this is the round where I'm going to get a little more into the details about how I use each of my tools. And I'm going to actually reverse it and go month, week, day.
Okay.
Sorry. I start with the month, or duh, right? That's
All
the
right.
big picture. And I actually start with the quintile planning, which I'll talk about a little more in a moment. But that calls on you to break up your planning of the year into 2 and 3 month chunks. So I will find a time to sit down and to plan out 2 or 3 months at a time. And I use my phone, and then I have, it's called a notebook on GoodNotes for each month that's kept in a folder for the year. I have a folder that's 2024, and I have 12 months of notebooks. And each notebook I personalize with a different color and a different sticker or photo on it, so it's easy to kind of find. And then each notebook for the months, when you go through the first page, it has a monthly calendar. And so
Mm.
that's where I plan my month. And I start by transferring the dates that I have from my phone, which is, my one source of truth, onto that monthly calendar. And then after that, I'll add in fun things, look for, date nights, time at Disney, time with my daughter, and so on. But I start with that notebook in GoodNotes, the digital notebook for the month to do my monthly planning. And then I will also, so after that monthly calendar, and right now, actually, it's really cute. And for the last 2 years, I've been using a Hello Kitty digital calendar.
Mm.
They have a free virtual download. And so I have downloaded their monthly calendar, which is fun and, a little bit of whimsy for each month. So after the monthly spread there, I will have a page that is more bullet journal-y where I have 4 categories of my hopes and dreams that I want to accomplish that month. And my categories are adulting is on one side, just for fun's on the other, volunteer work, and relationships. And so
Mm.
I think about those different categories of my life and the things that I want to try to accomplish in October or in whatever month it is, right after that monthly spread. And that's just kind of ground me and bring me back to what are my goals? What do I need to keep working on? And maybe how can I find time weekly to add these things in that I want to move forward? And then in the middle of that, I'll put something fun, maybe a quote or another photo, something seasonal stickers, virtual stickers. So that's on the monthly
Mm.
page, and that's how I do my monthly planning. And then weekly, I create a weekly spread for myself on my iPad. So after I have the month and then I have my goals, and then each week will have its own page that again has the week that I'm in, has something fun in the middle, a photo, a quote, something to kind of bring me joy when I look at it. One side, I'm going to list down the things for home that I want to accomplish. And then at the bottom of my weekly spread, I have each day of the week and what significant things are happening each day. Not every single thing, but what is going to take up a lot of energy or time or things that I don't want to forget about each day. I put on that weekly spread also. And then following that page, I have things that I want to accomplish for the week. I have a full page of just brainstorming everything I need to do at work to accomplish for that week. I separate home and work goals. And then following that page, I have a template of a weekly reflection page. So if I am being my best
Mm.
self at the end of the week, I'm taking time to reflect on how the week went. And this is a template that I got from Planny. I think it's called Planny. It's an app that you can download that has a ton of digital templates that you can download. And so I really like their one for reflecting on the week, including like, what were your wins? What was hard? What do
Mhm.
you want to remember? And so that feels really good to do that on a weekly basis. And then daily, I don't really have a plan. Like daily, I get
Mm.
to work and I date my next page after my work goals and my weekly spread. Each day, I have a date on the page and just whatever meeting I'm in, whatever I need to remember. Sometimes I start with a list of things for the day, but mostly I'm just referring to that weekly list and just trying to knock things off as I'm also going about my day and lots of meetings, taking a lot of notes. And that's my daily.
So, question, with that weekly spread, it's on your iPad. Do
Yes.
you look at it on your phone too, or just on the iPad?
I always have my iPad with me. In a
Okay,
pinch, I can look at it on my phone. That's the great thing about this app is that it's on the phone and also they've created a desktop version, but I always have my iPad with me. Like every place I go, I bring my iPad.
got it.
I'm usually referring to that.
Okay. So, how do you plan for far away things, like coming here next summer?
Oh, well, that's funny because I mean, the thing is, I'm not so good at planning faraway things.
Mm.
Like that's probably an area of growth for me to actually document faraway things. When you and I went through the Best Laid Plans Academy, there was a section of thinking about,
Oh, wait, I have to interject because we did best laid plans at home, which
oh,
is different. The
okay,
academy is like a multi-week session.
got it.
We did just like a 2 hour thing.
Okay, well, it felt very impactful. We did
It was.
we
I
did a
just want to.
2-hour thing. It changed my life. And there was a category of like, hey, maybe you want to think about your travel in 5 years. And that just did not occur to me. I
Mm.
just have not been good at that. So far away things, the best I can do is if I know a date, I'm going to put it on my phone and you can
Right.
do that far away. So if I know something's happening, I definitely want to track it and write it down. But then I have a bucket list and I usually do that in my disc bound journal. So I will brainstorm things that I want to remember, things about the next holiday season.
Okay.
Maybe it's in my journal, far away things, but the honest answer is I'm not great at planning far away.
Okay. How do you capture kind of quick ideas and notes? Like if you're listening to a podcast and there's a book recommendation, what do you do?
I am really using texting myself
Mm-hmm.
because it's usually I'm driving. Honestly, if I'm listening to a podcast, I'm probably on a commute. If I'm listening to something and I have an idea, I text myself. But now I've started to do that elsewhere also. I remember Gretchen talking about texting herself in a conversation with someone so you don't forget it. So I'll either text myself or I will create an Apple Note or add to an Apple Note that I have. I have an Apple Note that's called Thoughts that I've had for
Mm.
years. And it's just like when I hear a quote or something that I don't want to forget, I add it to thoughts and I can scroll through when I need a quote. So Apple Notes or my phone is where I do those quick capture.
Okay. And you've already addressed this, but quintiles. Like, what does your quintile planning look like? How do you do it?
Quintile planning is so satisfying. I can't tell you how much I enjoy it. It's like giving yourself the gift of sitting down and thinking about a particular phase in the year and referring back to what your goals are for the year and then thinking about how are you going to move those forward in this quintile planning and just getting it all out there. And so for me, I struggle with just having it on my phone and having that be the only place. Taking the step to actually write it down on the monthly calendar is cathartic and helps me really visualize, oh, how's this week going to feel? Or,
Mhm.
oh, I see that this is what's missing. So for that reason, I really love quintile planning. And then, I talked about the step that I take for myself in my virtual notebooks. But then the next step is to write it out on a calendar with the high level things for the family. So I take responsibility for tracking all the family events and notes and when I'm coming home late and who needs to be picked up where. And then I have that goes on the wall a quintile at a time. So it'll either be 2 or 3 months up at a time. So the family can see, okay, this is what's happening next month. And that's just really worked for us for the last few years.
Do you do like family meetings?
No, I don't do family meetings. I just know, and I will definitely check in. We'll talk about this a little bit later when we talk about how we intersect with other family members around planning, but mostly everybody's just like relieved when I have done the calendar
Hmm.
for the week and then I update it. I keep a pen nearby and I will like physically cross out what's changed or add to it. Sometimes I decorate that with stickers and it's super like not aesthetic. It's just ripped out calendar pages that are taped to the wall in the hallway. But it's a central location. It's easy to get to, but I take responsibility for all of that.
Got it.
All right, Malika, it's your turn.
Wow. All right.
Wait,
So,
let me ask you. Day, week, month.
okay. So, daily planning that usually only happens Monday through Friday, and it's at work, like when I sit down at my desk. So, it's usually just for work things, though. Like, I'll think about what I need to do that day and write it in my planner. And then sometimes I'll put it on the whiteboard too. I have a whiteboard in my office. I do also really kind of separate work tasks and personal tasks, but I will acknowledge that that is tricky sometimes. Because, like, I'll have my personal Hobonichi on my desk too. And I just don't give as much time to it because I feel like, well, I'm at
Mhm.
work. I shouldn't be doing this. But it doesn't get as much attention Monday through Friday as like it should for moving forward
Mhm.
on my
Yeah.
personal things. But I don't have a lot of spaces to do that. So thinking that through, just recognizing some holes, some weaknesses. For the week, usually sometime on Sunday or Monday, I think about the week's tasks and I'll write those in my personal Hobonichi. For work, the work week on Mondays, I started doing like a reflection looking forward, like how do I want to feel this week at
Mm.
work? What do I need to remember? What are my priorities? And like what would make me feel accomplished at the end of the week?
Do you have these questions written down somewhere or do you just remember them?
I wrote them down on a post-it note
Mm.
that's on my desk. So I like write them out again and then answer them.
Mm.
That's been helpful. For my personal week stuff also, I didn't mention this before, but this would be a big tool. I have a accountability partner.
Mm.
Shout out to Melissa.
Hey,
We've
Melissa.
been kind of connecting once a week for probably, I think, like 6 years now.
Oh, that's amazing.
And we have a phone call at some point on Monday, usually. If we're both busy, like we'll just do text check in. But we have a running Google document where each week we kind of have little sections to fill out. So one section is 5 wins from the past week, something that I learned this week, something about myself. My inner critic says, but my deeper wisdom knows. And then like a box of gratitude. And then looking ahead, what are 3 things I want to do this week? What's something I'm looking forward to? What's one thing I can do to move forward in my like best self, best life, whatever. And then like a mantra for the week.
What? That's amazing. You have to write this list down. So you have an accountability partner that you have been connecting with once a week for 6 years, and you have a running Google Doc where you each write these responses for each other.
Well, like I write my own responses, but Melissa can see them.
I know, but she sees yours and you see hers.
Yes. That's the structure of our phone
Wow.
call usually is like talking through the list.
That's amazing. That's some obliger stuff if I ever heard
It's
it.
deep obliger. It's deep obliger. And like this
Wow.
form, I kind of adapted from Oh gosh, I have to find the author. There's a book called, I think it's called Get It Done. It's like a book for productivity for artists. This woman has a company called The Organized Artist. And this was like a set of questions that she recommended for moving forward on creative projects where you don't have a lot of structure, giving yourself this weekly check-in. And so I adapted it for myself. And then like this was one of the big tools in my coaching practice for clients to fill out every week. And then I fill it out every week too.
Will you write them down for us so we can refer
Sure.
to them later?
Yeah. So that's in a Google Doc, but that's kind of a weekly model. I will be honest and say, since I started working again, we have not been as consistent in terms of filling out the sheet all the time. But when I do, again, this is the ideal situation.
Yeah.
When I do, I feel really good.
What about quick capture ideas and notes, Malika? What do you do?
So I do text myself. I have the conversation with myself pinned to the top of my text, so it's always there. And I do put notes into Notion also, but texting is like the new normal. We have like a couple whiteboards up in the kitchen. So sometimes I'll put things that we need for groceries or started a list like Amazon, Costco, groceries to add to that in the kitchen.
I forgot. I also use Post-its on my actual laptop. Like if I'm in a meeting or in a bench, I will use a Post-it as a quick capture tool. Okay, Malika. So quintiles. What about you and quintiles?
So I too am a convert to this system. I used to think about quarters when I had my business because that kind of aligned with finances. But I will say it just so happens that now I'm in an academic context. And so quintiles really make sense because you're going basically from break to break in the way that things are organized. So what I recognized is that I need to really plan ahead when I'm going to do this planning. And I need it to be at least 2 sessions. There were a couple times I was trying to do it in like one sit down. And I think after 90 minutes, my brain just fizzles out. So I need to kind of make sure I'm planning enough time for it. But when I do it, it's really great. I like first just kind of think through events, like for this set of months, like what are just the things that are happening, like school half days, holidays, anything that we already have on the calendar. And then I think about seasonal fun. What are the activities? Then I do that like long range planning, going through some questions. And then my categories are thinking about the goals or what I want to accomplish in that quintile. I made little hashtags for them. So one is all is well Amandi's. And that kind of includes Indigo and Kermit, like our household, everybody, family time things. House Beautiful, that's like specifically about the aesthetics of our home. Financials on Fleek, that's like our money management. Hashtag Malika Thrives. So that's like all of my self-care things that I want to do. Hashtag Vitalized. That's like for my relationship with Norm. And then I started doing hashtag Yogi Year for my theme of the year. So kind of thinking through, is there a special yoga class I want to go to? And then hashtag Always an Artist. I also added that in this year, trying to think about creativity and theater stuff. I'm just going to say it. It's too many categories.
That's a lot of categories.
Too many. I know.
But I love them. They're so uniquely you know, like I don't know how you would change it. Having a category for my house is something that never occurred to me.
Well, it's because I have the goal of putting up more artwork this year and also from moving. That was such a big thing of like making this feel more like a home and all this. But I think maybe what I need to do is just pick a couple to focus on each quintile instead of trying to go through them each. But that's the structure of the quintile planning.
Nice. Wow. That's great. And we'll put more information somewhere about quintile planning. But the way that I think you and I do it, it's January and February is one quintile, and then March, April, May, and then June, July, August. Is that right?
Yeah, it's like January up to spring break, whenever spring break is.
I see. January, February, March for me, and then April, May, and then June, July, August, September, October, and November, December is how it's broken up. But of course, you can do whatever you want and make them in a way that makes sense for you. But yeah, it's been a game changer.
Azizi, do you use any of your planning tools to track habits or anything else?
No,
No?
I don't. I talked about the reflection of the week, and I guess that's a form of tracking. Okay, so I do have a tab in my journal for my Weight Watchers notes. I talked about the
Okay.
meetings that I like to attend, and so I have a specific place where I will make goals for myself or write down thoughts that come from that. I have a place where I will write down notes from books and things like that, but no, I'm not great at habit tracking.
Is there anything that you would want to track?
No.
All right.
I do like to track my steps, but I already have devices that do
Yeah.
that, so I don't need to also do that. So I have played around in the past with like, how much water am I drinking and those
Mhm.
kinds of things, but no, I don't think so.
Okay.
What about you?
Let's see. What do I track? Well, I was tracking my yoga classes for the year. I kind of fell off with that for the yoga year. I've got to bring it back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm.
I go in and out of tracking exercise in general, but I'm
Mhm.
kind of in my weekly spread in the Hobonichi weeks. I have a little section that says, I call it a life log, and it's more like a to-done list to kind of celebrate anything that I did self-care related. So
Mm.
I do like self-care. I do anytime I've had like a personal connection with somebody, like I did a polo or had a intentional friend date or something. And then there was a significant moment with Indigo that week. I put it in there.
But that's not really a habit.
No, it's kind of looking back,
Mhm.
kind of memory keeping, I guess you would call it in a way. I don't know. I would love to track like phases of the moon and like other astrological things. And I know
Wow.
there are calendars that do this pre-filled, but I don't want to like add in another calendar just to do that. And when I've tried to do it by hand, there's just a lot going on. And I don't know that
Yeah.
much about astrology for it to be meaningful to me yet. It's more of an aspirational thing, but it's like I was doing it for like January and I was like, "Oh my god, there's just so much going on. I can't I can't write it all
It feels like
down."
so much. What are you getting out of it? I don't understand.
The idea was that like, oh, I could see what was going on in my life on this day and does it correlate to this cosmic thing? And I think it's also
Oh.
in the way that we had a conversation about this a while ago and Gretchen has talked about it, like following a sports team or like following something outside of yourself and seeing how it changes week to week as just like pastime.
Mhm.
I'm learning that's a lot what astrology is because things are just always changing and it's like gossip on the like celestial level, like, oh, this planet's here and this means this and this planet doesn't like that thing. And
Oh, wow.
so
You're really blowing my mind right now.
it's a thing, okay? So I'm not on
Okay.
the inside, but I could see how it would be very entertaining and like
Yeah.
but anyway,
Well, I feel like just the act of journaling regularly, for me anyway, going back each year on this day and what happened does that a little bit. Like I get so much out of what are the patterns,
yeah.
what's changed, what hasn't changed. So it's not like intentionally tracking a thing. It's just more of who am I on
Yes.
this day over years.
I'm curious. All my journaling has moved to the Remarkable tablet, but there is a physical Hobonichi product that is a 5-year journal
Hmm.
where it has like a page for each day, but it's like for each year on the same day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I think would be cool. I feel like
Yeah.
maybe 2025 would be a good time to start that, to have the half of the decade.
So does that mean you're introducing a third Hobonichi?
Potentially. I haven't
Okay.
purchased it, but I just feel like if I was gonna ever do a thing like that, that would be a good time.
But for your Remarkable, can you download a digital graphic organizer? Because there might be an astrological download that you can just add to,
Probably, like any PDFs you can do there,
right?
but I don't have my calendar on the Remarkable.
Oh, I see. That's harder. Well, as we were talking about it, I do track things from my 24 for 24. So I think that is a place
Oh,
where I
yeah.
decide what I want to track. And then I do write it down, and that would be in my journal. So I do a little bit of habit tracking, but only on those things that I have said I want to track as a part of my 24 for 24.
And your journal is in your disc bound?
That's my disc bound,
Okay,
exactly.
got it.
Okay, well, let's take a break. That was a lot. There's so much more. So I hope you liked what you got so far. but we're going to wrap it up there and continue with part 2. But let's take a break, and when we get back, we're going to go over peaks and valleys.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
All right, we are back with peaks and valleys because in life, there are always peaks and valleys. Azizi, you're up first with a peak.
Yes. So while I was away at a work trip in Ohio, I had a few hours to myself and I randomly made the choice to get acrylics on my nails.
Welcome to the dark
I
side.
know. I crossed over. There was no pre-thought about it. This was not on my bingo card list, not on my 24 for 24. I had not done anything to my nails for like a good year, besides the stickers that I talked about, which I loved and they were fun. But I just decided, you know what? Maybe I want to just have a permanent solution for a little while. And my hotel happened to be facing a nail salon. It's like literally across the street. And it was like one of these salons that had rows and rows of chairs. And it was like so beautiful, fabulous. You could make an appointment online. It was just so easy. And I walked in and I got acrylics. And I've just gotten them filled again. And it just feels good to just look down and know that that part is clean and neat and tidy and taken care of. Feels good. So I'm enjoying that. Thank you, Malika, for the inspiration. Now, I will say I'm sticking to the basics.
Okay.
Nothing wacky or different colored on different fingers. None of that. It's all matching. It's all the same. It's like neutral. And that's the lane I'm comfortable in.
Good for you.
What about you, Malika? What's your valley?
My valley, it's back to the weather. It has been so mercurial. I mean, that's the word for it, I guess. I really want to settle into this fall season. And I feel like last year we didn't deal with these wide swings like until the winter spring transition. So I'm kind of conditioned for that. But this is fall and it's like it'll start out, it'll be 40 degrees in the morning and then it's like 78 degrees. Like, how do you dress for that?
That's like LA. You used to dress for that.
No, but it's really cold in the morning and then it's
Okay.
really warm later in the day. It's not okay. It's easy. It's just, you don't understand.
I don't understand.
And there'll be like 2 or 3 really chilly days. And then all of a sudden it's back to 75.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. Anyway, it's fine, but it's very confusing and destabilizing.
That is confusing. And you have to have all the clothes out for everything.
That's what I'm saying. We're going between gloves and tank tops, like on a day.
Gloves and tank tops? That's bananas. In one day. Wow.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end. Azizi, let's leave on a happier thought. What are you going to try this week?
I want to dig into your list of questions that you go over with your accountability partner. So make sure to share those with me.
Okay, I will.
Malika, what about you?
I don't need to do this, but I want to look into iPads. I just want to see. Is it?
I strongly encourage you to take yourself to the Apple store and try it out.
I just don't want to give up the Remarkable because it's a good tool. I don't know. Anyway,
give it to Norm.
You've really piqued my interest. Yes. All right. Well, thank you for listening to this episode. You can find our show notes in the episode description. If you like us, please rate us and review us and tell a friend. And don't forget to follow us.
Send us a message at happierladies@gmail.com and tell us something you liked about Happier and Happier in Hollywood this week.
Our show was edited by Magnus Bjorgum, and our theme music was created by Wyatt Muncie.
And you can find us on Instagram at happierladies and on the web at happierladies.com. All right, Malika, have a happier week.
Have a happier week, Azizi.
Bye.
Bye. All right.
Okay. Oh, oh, you come back.
I'll
Yeah.
come back.
Okay. Who does
Oh,
that?
we didn't. Jeez, Lou. What are we doing here?
That's
We
you,
didn't
Malika,
even
right?
fill in the Festival of piece. Um,
At the top, did you want to record that? Let's see, do we have the break?
no. Let me just put in the let's see, where's Festival of?
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.